Welcome back to Casa Refine. My name is Jorge. Today I'm going to share 4 console styling ideas you must know. But before I do, I actually got my hands on this console. I don't love it, so we're going to do a quick DIY on it and transform it to this. I actually got it on Facebook Marketplace. Here's what it looked like and how I transformed it into this. Again, here is the console, such a good price, solid wood, and I love everything about it except the color. You might even have a wood furniture piece that you don't love because of the color. It's just a little too orange for my taste, so I'm going to get my hands on it and show you how maybe you can transform a console, make it look antique, and then we'll do some styling, okay? And when I say antique, I'm talking about those sort of old world English cottage style furniture pieces that just look so beautiful. So of course I'm going to strip down the wood, which is not my favorite activity, but I think it's going to be worth it. Here I'm going to actually try the oven cleaner technique. So I'm using the name brand version. Also picked up this yellow one from Dollar Tree to see if it actually works. Also can't forget some personal protection. On the left side, I'm testing the name brand fume-free version. On the right side, I'm testing the Dollar Tree version. And I will absolutely tell you, the Dollar Tree version has a lot of fumes. I had to put on a mask because it was just so strong. But now I'm just gonna let it do its thing for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then we'll come back and hose it down. This is what it looks like after about 40 minutes, and I see a lot of people clean it up with some dish detergent, some warm water, and a scrubbing brush, so that's what I'm doing here. And yes, it's a little bit messy. This is definitely an outdoor project, but all the gunk is relatively coming off easily, and I was actually very surprised on how well both oven cleaners work. No, I promise this is not sponsored, but definitely the Dollar Tree one had some high fumes, but it worked. The next step is to just rinse everything down with the hose, and that's pretty much it. I let this sit for a day or so just to let it fully dry. Now, this did raise the wood grain a little bit, so I'm just gonna do some light sanding. Now, notice in this corner, I don't know what's wrong. Maybe it's like the oils of the wood or something. I'm not exactly sure. That it did eventually dry off after a few days, but I went ahead and sanded everything down just because the water raises the wood grain, and I just want it to be nice and smooth. Now at this point I can add a stain, maybe a sealer or something like that, but I think I'm gonna go in a different direction. Okay, so I brought the wooded console inside, and I have to say it's so beautiful. You know, I actually decided to leave it unfinished just because I kind of want the patina to develop naturally over time. But if I do want to in the future, I could probably paint it, stain it, what have you. But I love the natural wood. I think it looks so beautiful, and I'm just loving the imperfections with the knots and all of that. I also left the original hardware for this little drawer here. It's literally like the smallest drawer in the world, but I think this is beautiful. So I'm gonna go ahead and do kind of a fun creative exercise and do 5 console styling ideas to kind of just get the creative juices flowing and hopefully give us some ideas on how to style a console. Keep in mind, this is a smaller, kind of on a smaller size for a console, but I think the concept will be the same. One thing I did do was I added this sort of smaller accent table. I actually thrifted this a couple of months ago, I think, from the thrift store, and I thought it was so beautiful. I initially brought it to kind of refinish it, but I actually end up liking the color. I think it's beautiful. You can tell that the previous owner had a dog or something because there's some like bite marks at the bottom there that they chewed up. I don't know, I think it gives it character. Got mail. Sorry about that. Where was I? So I'm actually going to do like a sort of a nested table situation. The great thing about this type of consoles, like you can put something underneath, maybe some like baskets or maybe some stools, some ottomans. So I think this is a great way to kind of mix different wood tones. So for look number 1, I'm going to work around this piece, and the theme is going to be charcoal patina. Now this is a painting that I created a couple of months ago, and I actually shared it here on YouTube. There's the video if you want to go watch it, but it really just blends this beautiful texture with some modern pattern, some texture, some color. Is it crooked? Let me see. So for this, I really want to embrace the beauty of patina with a touch of modernity. So this is going to be the center here, kind of the focal point. Next, I will add this beautiful vintage clay pot. Now these are actually going to be now available up on my shop. Actually, a lot of these things are going to be up on my shop, gotsveryfineshop.com. If you are not aware, I have an online store with beautiful treasures, and I just added a whole bunch of new things. So this one is going to, again, play on that patina. And then here I have this gray terracotta vase with these 3 handles, which I think is very unique. I love sort of that texture and sort of the faux patina. Now this one is new, but it has the distressed look. That one is actually vintage. So I'm gonna like kind of group it together here, play with different heights. You know, I've been obsessed with dried branches for years, and these are going to look very nice in this larger one. You gotta just let it fall as it may, like that. Nothing too perfect. I mean, branches are organic, so this is gonna add a touch of organic to this. Then we'll help put a book. You know, for this vignette, I wanna keep sort of a neutral color palette, but a simple way to add some color to this is maybe swapping out the branches or even the book for something more colorful, but this one I think will be just fine. Take a look at this lamp. Isn't this beautiful? So this is sort of a mid-century modern style lamp. It's actually brand new, but it has this cream shade that I absolutely love. And then with this sort of aged brass detail right here for the structure. And I think it's very interesting. It's modern, which by the way, for all of these looks, I will put anything that's available in the kind of organized by each looks in case you want to check these out for yourself. And to make this more personal, let's layer some more artwork. This is a vintage painting and it's just so beautiful. I've been waiting to use it. And it has sort of these beautiful autumn colors. It's sort of this like countryside painting. Put it right there. Look at that, adds a little bit of depth and layering. And that's pretty much it for this console. Keeping it very simple. You know, I think we could use a candle. This one, by the way, is called Stress Relief. I'm selling it now in the shop. It smells incredible. If you could smell it, it smells really nice. And just kind of putting it right there. If I light this up, it's gonna give like a nice glow. But this is it for this vignette. Keeping it simple, mixing different wood tones, playing with vintage and modern elements to kind of create a more timeless feel, which is what I prefer. But let me know your thoughts on this vignette. The vibe for this look is going to be Minimalist Elegance, where I want to stick to a neutral color palette with subtle color for a calm and sophisticated vibe. So we're going to design around this mirror right here, just a simple modern rectangular mirror with sort of a gold or brass frame. Look at this pot. This pot is pretty heavy, but it's so beautiful and it's a vintage piece, handmade, and I just love the texture that it has with some color variation. There's just a few available on the shop, but I think this is going to be perfect. Have you seen that video of that little girl? It's just like, it's perfect. Or maybe I'm mistaking it. Check these out. So these are some faux magnolia branches, but they have a realistic look and feel, kind of like rubber. These are in the red color. There's also another color available. And what I like about these, of course, they're so moody. These are not only perfect for fall, but they're also great for the winter season, where just things in nature are just more gloomy and moody and kind of more dried color palette. So I think these would be great throughout those months. I did bend some of the branches a little bit just to create some height variation. This one might be one of my new favorites on the shop. So this is a clay like water pot. It's actually new, but it has this like vintage look to it that I think is so beautiful. Now each one is actually unique because they are actually handmade. And so as you can see, there's a little bit of pattern right here. And then, I don't know, I think these are just beautiful. Now these do kind of, since they're handmade and just the nature of these, they kind of just balance differently. So this one kind of leans towards one side, but placing it right next to that larger one, I think creates a nice grouping. So many beautiful things. Real quickly, I wanted to make a quick announcement on some items that I just added to the shop. Pieces to help make your home a little bit more refined. So I added lots of new pots and planters, some vases, some greenery, maybe even some stools if you're looking for some of that. Beautiful candelabras. So many beautiful things. I'm not going to go in depth with them here. In fact, I actually am using some of them in the styling video today to help give you some ideas. But if you're looking for some inspiration or new pieces, be sure to head over to GusRefineShop.com. I wasn't planning on doing a discount code, but I love my YouTube family here. So I'm going to do 10% off for a limited time with the code that you'll find in the description. That's 10% off your order. So be sure to head over to GusRefineShop. Again, GusRefineShop.com to help make your space feel a little bit more refined. Books are always a great idea on a console, so we'll put that right there. Bringing in some color with the subtleness of the book. I love these. So these are wrought iron candle holders. They come in 3 different sizes. And what I love about this is, of course, the matte black color, but they are wrought iron and they're pretty heavy. And honestly, I just love sort of that like handmade look that they have. So I could put probably 2. In this case, I'm gonna put all 3 sizes together. I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm scared of burning down the house. So I'll be using these LED candlesticks. What I love about these is I've shared these in the past, but these are LED, but it's like real wax at the bottom here. And I can actually turn all of these on with a remote if I want. I could adjust the brightness. I could put them on a timer. And I think these are perfect for these candles right here. And that'll pretty much do it for this console table. Again, I'm trying to keep this one very simple, mixing in some different metals here, playing with heights, some subtle color, mixing different wood tones with the nested table situation, and of course this beautiful pottery. But let me know your thoughts on this one. I think this might be my favorite vignette so far. Now for this vignette, I'm going for a modern with a slight industrial edge, and I'm going to kind of work around this art piece that I made. One of my favorites. It has this wonderful texture and it's kind of moody, so let's see what we can come up with. First up is this vintage clay pot. Again, has this beautiful sort of aged quality to it, and I do have a few available. I don't think I'm gonna put anything inside this one and kind of just let it speak for itself. Books, you can't have too many. So this is a set that I actually thrifted, and this, I like the fact that they're all black and they stack together. It's just very clean. I just like a set of books, you know? And on top of these books, we'll put this pot. So this is my Maya cemento pot that I make. I love creating these. I just love the texture and sort of that beautiful brown color variation. So we're gonna put that right on top here. Could be used as a planter, a little decorative pot. Stress has been relieved. So this is, again, my favorite right now. This is Stress Relief, the scent. We're gonna put it right here. I'm gonna leave it uncovered. Let some of that air, that scent kind of diffuse. I love an ambered glass jar, you know? Now here I want a neutral color palette with a touch of color, also some rich texture and some modern forms. Speaking of which, this is a beautiful sort of candelabra, wrought iron. I love, again, the matte black, and I think it's just so beautiful. It has sort of this like handmade quality that makes it so unique. So we're gonna put this right here. Again, these are the LED candlesticks. Again, they turn on. They are battery operated, but they have the actual like wax. They flicker kind of like the real deal. Can't have too many books. So these are actually faux tulips, but they kind of look realistic. They have sort of this like rubber feel. I love this particular color. And what I did was I kind of bent them around a little bit to kind of mimic the real deal, how, you know, they start to kind of wilt or move around. So I'm gonna put this in this beautiful sort of speckled vase, which I think is going to kind of just make this more interesting to look at, introduce another sort of taupe color in here. And since these candles are not real, they're not gonna burn down the plant here. I think that's very elegant, kind of romantic in a way. And that'll do it for this vignette. Again, modern with a touch of an industrial vibe. Let me know your thoughts on this console. My goal for this look is boho chic, which I normally don't gravitate towards bohemian design, but here's my interpretation of it. I'm going to be working around this art piece that I made a while back. You could probably find the YouTube video if you look for it, but it's basically kind of a remnant of some of my DIY projects. It's an old drop cloth that I used to use for my projects, and it kind of just collected all sorts of materials, paint, cement, plaster, you name it, it's on there, and it kind of created its own artwork in itself. So I'm gonna put this right here. Now, when I talk about bohemian, of course, there are a lot of different boho styles. I feel like the more popular, common one these days is sort of this like cane rattan, light wood tones with like creamy beiges and some terracotta and some like squiggly art thing. You know what I'm talking about? And I think it's beautiful. It's not my style per se, but there's something beautiful about that. However, the bohemian that I'm talking about, it's kind of like this notion of someone who's like well-traveled around the world, whether it be physically for trips or like an interest if you like things around the world. So someone who might collect all sorts of objects that might not necessarily go together in a design like way, but you kind of make it work, and it tells your story of the places that you've been to and things like that. So for this one, it's actually a vase from Mexico. Very beautiful, has sort of this texture with some just like slight color variation. And what I did is I placed one bunch of this, I think this is called cattail. And what I did is for some of them, I kind of trim different lengths to them so that when I put them in the vase, it creates different like heights. And I think that variety just makes for a more interesting look. I do think we need some color though. And of course, a book is always a great way to do so. This one is Frida Kahlo, called Her Universe. I love the color of this book too. You see how that just starts to add just a little color, not too much. Check these out. These swans. This might be my favorite vintage find of the year. I actually got these at an antique store this last summer, and they're pretty large, they're heavy, and they're solid brass, and I think they're so beautiful. Of course, they have developed a patina, which I think makes them even better. I think they're so cool. Let me know if you have ever had some of these. Let's do another vase. So this one has a handle, which is pretty cool. And then I put one bunch of the dried grasses. And again, I trimmed some of the lengths on some of these to create just a more interesting look, as you can see like this. Maybe I just have an obsession with vases, but I like creating groupings with vases whenever I can. And to finish things off, I'm going to put a few of these rustic wooden bowls. Now these come in different sizes. This is the mini one. Then there's also this one. And what I love about these is they're each, of course, unique. Some of them have knots. Some of them, the wood has split, so there's cracks. And just different colors, as you can see here. And kind of just putting them together, I think that's pretty interesting. I could probably even remove these and put like maybe a candle and some accessories, or use it as a catch-all. So again, for this vignette, some warm wood tones and unique eclectic items. What are your thoughts? Well, friend, those are my 4 console styling ideas. I'm just curious to know which one was your favorite. Did you like console number 1, console number 2, 3, or 4? Now, as I said, I will put the details for each console vignette in the description, so if you're looking for a link to something, you'll probably find it there. A lot of them will be available on my shop. Just be sure to check that out there. And if you have any more questions, if you want to do this again, I actually had a lot of fun, definitely let me know. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.